And I want to remind you that you have a purpose. You are here for a reason. There is something that you and you alone can do. Don't ever forget that. In last week's video, I talked about the importance of acknowledging our limitations, recognizing when we needed the help of others. I talked about Moses and the stick that he was holding up to help the Israelites win the battle. However, it came to a point where he needed others to hold his arm up because he couldn't do it by himself. And this is how they were able to eventually win the battle in the end. I want to continue with this subject. I want to continue on this topic of acknowledging our limitations, but I want to do it in the realm of acknowledging when we might need some professional help. A couple of years ago, a much loved actor lost his life. He actually took his life, and this shocked the world. They would have never imagined that he would have ended his own life. Now, I decided to do a live event after this took place, talking about mental health awareness. I did it with a friend of mine who is a professional in the field. And what we did was, one, I shared a personal experience, and I had her touch on the professional side of things, what we need to be aware of, the signs that we need to look out for, and how we could help someone who is in this position, someone who's in a place where they feel they have nothing left to live for. They feel that there's no reason to keep living, and they're ready to take their own lives. I did this because I recognized that the topic of suicide is one that is sensitive. It's also even considered taboo in some areas. As a Christian, I know that many times individuals are told, well, if you're feeling this way, maybe it's because you're not praying enough. Maybe it's because your connection to God is weak, and you might just need to go to God a little more. Now, I think that's a bit dangerous because I too am a Christian, and I was brought up a Christian. I've always known that I can turn to God with my concerns. I am someone who prays when I want to commune with God. However, it has not stopped me from feeling like or questioning what was my life all about. I can vividly recall one winter when I was away at school. Now, just to give you a little bit of a background, I went to school in a state where literally the snow would come up to your hips sometimes. You could clean off your car and a few minutes later have to clean it off again. Now, this was new to me because I had never experienced so much snow. Now, I didn't find out till much later that the depression rate in the state was much higher, and that it was attributed to a lack of perhaps vitamin D, because when winter came around, winter stuck around, and winter did not leave for a long time. So that meant it was cloudy, it was dark, it was gloomy a lot of the times. Now, I recognized later on that part of why I was feeling depressed, part of why I was feeling a little down was probably attributed to this. However, I think it also was attributed to the fact that I was away from home for the first time. I was in a new environment, and I was learning some things. I was experiencing things that I had not experienced before. Experiencing friends letting me down, people who I thought were on my side. It turns out they really weren't. They were in it for themselves. So I was experiencing a lot of new things, many things that left me feeling down, left me questioning myself, questioning my worth, questioning who I was, questioning my purpose in life, where I was headed, what was I gonna do. For a long time, I kept these feelings from my family. I kept them from my mom. And my mom is someone who I talk to all the time, and I share just about everything with her. But I kept it from her because I thought, I can handle this on my own. It wasn't until I reached a point where I got into my car and I just started driving. And I recognized that as I was driving, the thoughts that were coming to mind were, what would be the easiest way to end my life? What would be the less painful way? What would be a way that would not leave me suffering? I started thinking about these things. I also started questioning, how could I just end my pain? And it was then that I recognized that I was in a very dark place. And sometime after this, I decided to get some help. Thankfully for me, there was counseling available on campus. And I decided to sign up for counseling. And the lady who counseled me, I felt that she was a godsend. She was very patient. She would listen to my concerns. She would speak up when I think it was the best time to speak. She asked me just the right questions and had me considering what I had said to her. She would send me home with some assignments, but things that would help me go back through my feelings, things that would help me put things into perspective. Now, I share this with you because I can tell you that the person I was before these sessions and the person I became after these sessions was a completely different individual. I'll never forget, on the day of my graduation, seeing her in the audience. She approached me afterwards and said, I know that technically I'm not supposed to approach you this way outside of the office, but I just wanted to congratulate you, and I wanted to remind you that I'm still here for you. I know that we're no longer therapist and patient, or counselor and patient, but I'm so happy that you have reached this milestone in life, and I wanted you to know that I still care. And I thought that was so, it really was touching. And I recall us hugging each other and then going our separate ways. But I'll never forget her. I'll never forget what she did for me. Now, this is not an easy topic to share. It's not an easy thing to discuss. I feel as if I'm laying myself bare before you guys, but I know that there might be someone out there who themselves have reached a point where they're thinking, what is life all about? Why am I even here on earth? And I want to remind you that you have a purpose. You are here for a reason. There is something that you and you alone can do. Don't ever forget that. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone to share what it is that you're going through. At the end of this video, I'll be sure to leave some information as to where you too can turn to for help. And I'll be sure to also leave it in the description below. The story that I shared with you in today's video is but a small example of what I personally experienced. But please, do know that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death here in the US. If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, do not hesitate to reach out to your local authorities, a counselor, a pastor, a family member, or a friend. But do whatever it takes to get the help that you need.
Grows to the ones feeling lost.